There are two interesting questions that come up when we talk about the end of human labor, which I expect to happen in the next 5 years. Between the end of 2026 and 2030, I believe all human labor will be replaced by AI and robots, and we will need a replacement income to restore consumption and to restore demand in the economy. We will need full incomes, not some minimum income or welfare. People will need to receive full incomes. So there will have to be taxation to tax that money from companies to recover the money that companies used to spend on wages and salaries, and then a simple system of payments to pay out that money equally to everyone who is unemployed. A question I often get when I talk about this is people ask, why would companies willingly give money to people in UEI payments? And I didn't really understand why people were asking this strange question, but I think I figured it out. What they're thinking is that because they were working for the company, and the company had to pay them for their labor, now that a company does not need to pay them for their labor anymore, they're no longer needed by the company, why would the company give them money? And this is something called chasing the loss. You see this with gamblers where they gamble at a blackjack table or a slot machine and they lose money, and then they want to go back to that same table or same machine to try and recover the money, even though it makes no difference and they could go to gamble anywhere else or invest their money or just not gamble. It wouldn't make any difference, but they're drawn back to gamble, and they're drawn back to gamble at the exact same table or exact same machine where they lost the money. And it's because of this psychological mechanism of chasing the loss. Of course, people would not get money directly from the company where they worked. The way a UEI would be funded is with a sales tax. The government would simply increase sales tax to recover the money that companies used to spend on wages and salaries, and then they would use that money to fund the UEI payments. The idea that it's coming somehow directly from the company to the unemployed people is just a cognitive error. Similarly, some people suggest to raise the money to fund UEI, we should have a robot tax or an AI tax. That's really unworkable, but I can see how they get that idea. It's also an example of chasing the loss, because there would be lost personal income tax when people become unemployed. Rather than thinking, well, we can just increase the sales tax to compensate, instead they think we have to have a sort of income tax on robots. The problem is robots do not earn any income. The company earns income. AI and robots will be implemented across the economy. Every company will be using them. So there's no reason to tax robots or AI. We just need to increase the sales tax to recover the money that was spent on wages and salaries, and then give that to consumers so that consumption will be restored and demand in the economy will be restored and maintained.